Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Modern Skyblocks 2. Now you'll notice behind me here, I did go through and I cleaned up a lot of the stuff, that we had set up, all that mess. And cleaned it up, kind of hid this behind this ruby glass, because I tested it and discovered that the combustion heaters, anything that ore dictionaries as glass can work on these. So that ruby glass is part of the multi-block structure. And I've still got a little bit of cleanup work and stuff to, add and stuff as we go. And I spent a while in here cleaning things up. Okay? You'll notice especially over here, it's so much, it's getting there. This thing is still a big eyesore, but that's going to be gone this episode. Okay? Over here I've started sorting through things, and this right here, let me pop over here, let me get some plant matter. And basically what this is I can just come over here and just right click, and there's an item collector attached to this that grabs all the ender pearls. So this isn't currently plugged up into the system. Honestly, I probably end up automating this at some point so that when there's space for ender pearls, then a mechanical user will go ahead and take plant matter and activate the ender lily. Over here, this is infinite water with a singularity tank. So if we pop back here, basically what I have is I have a mechanical user right here that takes the full buckets and then right clicks them into that tank, and it's not doing anything right now, and that's because it's full. It can't put that water anywhere. Activate block with item is what I have it set at. And then there's a filter here on this servo for empty clay buckets, and then over here there's a pipe that actually comes up under through here. You can't see it, but it has a filter for full buckets that goes into this mechanical user. And then right here, this user is just facing down into a 3-long infinite water source. Pretty straightforward setup, so I went ahead and set that up. And then I have a hovering hourglass here. Both of these are set to redstone on. That way they don't keep just clicking the buckets, and because if you don't do the redstone on, they tend to, especially with item ducts, because they don't send the items quickly enough a lot of times, what happens with the mechanical users is they just keep emptying and filling the buckets just over and over again. Even with the filter set, it doesn't move it fast enough, so that's why I have that there. And then I got our manual freezer set up here. We are going to do some automation with freezers, but these are just kind of like manual ones, so I can just, if I want to freeze something, that's there. Over here, there's a little bit of chest clutter. I am wrapping up some organizing. There's a little bit of stuff out here too. Also, I did expand this dirt out. I'm about to start decorating outside here and cleaning up the outside. Over here, if we take a look, you could actually probably see it on the mini-map, there is no more base down there. Almost ran off the edge. There is no more base. So that down there is all gone. I took a bit of time and just got the last bit of all this just assorted junk that was left down there, moved it up here, and then cleaned it out. And then over here, actually, I'll show you this real quick. I have animal storage. So this is basically my Noah's Ark. It's Asgard's Ark. And we've got 2 sheep, 2 chickens, 2 pigs, 2 cows. Only 1 llama. I killed all my llamas down there, and I thought I had more up here, but more will spawn, so I'm not too concerned about it. I know there's a cow over here. And I'm not sure what is spawned over there. I think it's probably a chicken, because whatever it is, it's small. So there was some baby llamas running around up here before, but I don't know if they ended up killing themselves. It's very, very possible that they did, probably in the lava pit that used to be out there, which that's gone. I don't know if you noticed, but anyways, all this stuff is still set up pretty much the same over here. It's just all kind of hidden back in here because it's just such a big bundle of like wires and stuff like that. Also, one other thing I want to show you over here, drawers are filled with gunpowder, blaze powder, gravel, cobblestone, sand, like everything that we're producing over there is filled, and everything is just shut off. It's not running right now. Alright, so the first thing that I want to do today is I want to add one additional thing to our Cobbleworks. Like today we're going to add in smooth stone, we're going to add in sand, not sand, glass, probably crystal shards, and one other thing that I want to add is obsidian, because we can actually automate obsidian at this point, and very, very easily as well. So I would like to go ahead and do that. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have some onyx bricks come out right here, and I'm going to have glass setting right here, and we're going to be able to see the obsidian running. Yeah, that's where I want it. And let me remove this for just a moment. And what we're going to do is we're going to have just some hardened fluid ducts pull out of this. And then let's go ahead and put a servo on it. And we'll say that you're going to ignore redstone. And then we're just going to bring these straight up like this. And then, let me see. Yeah, actually right here will be perfect. Okay, so I'm not going to plug in the last of those right this second. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put down some bricks there. Let me get... Dark oak's a little bit more common at the moment than, or easier to get than onyx. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put down a mechanical miner from extra utilities. Okay, this thing will break pretty much anything, and the nice thing is you can actually put a book in here if you want to add like fortune or something. You know, if you have like an ore processing system, you can add books to this to make it, to kind of give it that, you know, that better output, that fortune or whatever the case may be. And then over here, let me grab some cobblestone to work with. And what I want to do is I want to bring this floor out. It's right next to this. Let's do to like right there. And we'll go ahead and bring this out. Bring this out. And then we'll close that off. Okay, so we kind of have like this little pit here. And then we'll bring up our onyx bricks like that. And then just for decoration's sake, I'm going to go ahead and bring these up so that we've got something like this. Okay. And one more layer, in fact. And let me break off this just temporarily. And then we're going to put a fluid dropper just right here. You know, so we've got the mechanical miner sitting there, the fluid dropper right there. Then we've got this like shaft that kind of runs down. And then let me get a bucket real quick. I've got some sitting over here. And I would like to get some water. If we pull water out, you can see that, there we go, it just filled back up. And what we're going to do is we're going to put water right in there. So it just flows straight down through the shaft right there. And then what I would like to do is, let me go ahead and actually place that block there. And let me get a piece of glass. And I think I'm going to go with like a red glass. So some of this ruby glass, that's kind of what I'm using in that area. And we'll just pop our glass right there. Okay, and then we'll just bring this over. So we kind of have like the same little window effect that I've got on all these other things. I do have to put a thermal facade right there, but that's not a big issue. I've got to come through and thermal facade a few places. Actually, not that many now that I've changed this up a little bit. I could have the pipes come around, but these are a little bit more expensive than I would like to waste if I can avoid it. So there we go. That's really it. And if we take a look here, mechanical miner, it's building up obsidian. So it's actually that simple. Because the mechanical miner is going to break anything. Lava that's placed right here is close enough to the water that it instantly turns into obsidian. And, I mean, technically we could even remove this glass and it would just run. It's not going to become lava and have any issues flowing out or anything like that. So, okay. And then we're just going to run our item conduits around and connect it into this system. Just so we can start pumping it into our drawer network. And, of course, it is going to be using lava. So, it's another benefit to having our automatic lava production setup going. And I'm going to need a servo to pull out of the mechanical miner, so let me get one of those as well. And I also tested it. If the mechanical miner fills up, by the way, it is going to stop running. So we don't have to worry about, you know, it backing up or it causing lag on the server. Once it fills up that drawer that's in the network, and then once it fills up the mechanical miner buffer, then it's going to stop running. So that will be perfect. And I mean, I guess technically if I didn't want a big buffer in here, one thing that I could do, and actually I might do it. Let's say ignore redstone. And let me go ahead and just put some cobble in there. And this mechanical miner does hold one piece of obsidian in like a theoretical buffer. So, you know, it gets 64 as you just saw, but then it mined one more. That just kind of goes into a theoretical buffer. It's still, the item is still there, and if space opens up, it's going to have one that it just puts in there. Okay, and it's starting to run again, and I'm going to go ahead and just filter. I'm going to say whitelist obsidian for the time being. And that way, you know, this only has that one stack buffer that it has to deal with, and then, yeah, then it's going to stop. So that way, because it's going to save me on blaze powder. So right now we've got 4 obsidian, and it is sending the obsidian somewhere. It's just taking a little while to get here, because it's having to run through the entire, you know, the item duct line that runs through there. Okay, and right now it's kind of slowed down because that crucible has ran out of lava. So one thing I might do real quick is expand this so we have like additional crucibles feeding into the singularity tank. So right now we have 81 obsidian. Really, it's not going to take terribly long for this to have a full drawer of obsidian. But either way, it makes our lives a whole lot easier so that we don't have to, you know, because I've been using obsidian for things like ender collect or item collectors and all that different stuff, the void upgrades, and just, I don't know. It's just one of those things that is still, we're at the point now where it's kind of like not fun to, when you need it, and it's super easy to automate, so. Alrighty, I let that run for just a bit, and we actually have a full drawer of obsidian. Like, it did not take very long at all for this thing to fill up. So, I did add an additional crucible over here. So if you take a look, now there's 2 of them set up. So, anyways, that's running smashingly. It's great. And I wanted to go ahead and get that ran over and done because we're going to need lava for the next part. So the next thing we need to turn our attention towards is the smelting operations for both smooth stone and for glass, which of course is very crucial because glass and smooth stone are both things that we're going to be using a lot of, you know, for making things like crystal shards for all of our ingot production, and then of course the smooth stone for gem production. So what we're going to do, I went ahead and made a materials and U-book just so I can show you this entry. If you open this up, you'll notice there's a couple new multi-blocks. The seared furnace and the tinker tank. We'll probably end up getting into the tinker tank a little bit later. It's not really a priority at the moment. But the seared furnace, this is a super furnace, basically. And it's a multi-block structure. That's what we're going to be using. By the way, I'm on the server right now with Seared and Garanicki LP. And Seared's doing some testing with the Discord bot, because there were some new categories that kind of messed it up, so he's doing some testing in regards to that. But I do have a chest here with a bunch of seared bricks and then seared stone. I've had this running for a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started with this. Let's go ahead and grab just a bit of the seared stone. And I'm going to go ahead and just change this stuff over. We'll start with like a stack of seared bricks. And our seared furnaces, we're going to set them up over here. And we're going to go out, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to skip a space and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's going to leave us 2. Yeah, that's perfect. So these things are going to be 5 wide. And then let me get, I've got a stone wand here. Let me go ahead and just bring these out a little bit. So we'll go 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's the size that I want. I think 5 by 5 by 5 on these. 3, 4, 5. Put that down. Okay, so that's where our 2 seared furnaces are going to be. Now these do require a frame, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then 5. And one thing to note is that the top can be slabs or it can be stairs as well. It doesn't have to be full seared bricks. I'm going to use seared bricks because it's not really going to be visible. But, you know, you have options in regards to that. So, okay. So there we go. We got 2 full framed seared furnaces. And then we'll just put, we'll go ahead and put the back in. And there's not a whole lot of need to have glass on the front of these. But let's go ahead and put walls on this. And what we're going to do is we're going to have the connections right in here for both of these. So, alright, so the next thing that we're going to want is let's get controllers. Right here, the seared furnace controller. It is 8 seared bricks and a furnace. Okay, for whatever reason, my Cobbleworks had locked up, which this pack, liquid updating is kind of wonky. So sometimes liquids don't update and it causes cobblestone to get placed in bad places, and it's a bit of a headache, but I did get it sorted. And so let me go ahead and just snag like 14 of this compressed cobble, and then we can get our furnace. But I will say that here soon we're not going to have to deal with that kind of vanilla-y style Cobbleworks. I'm going to get rid of that as quick as I can. Just because of the updating errors and stuff like that that I've been having with it. But what we're going to do is we're going to put our seared furnace, and I think we're going to do it right here. Because one thing to note about the seared furnaces is you actually don't have to have the frame on the bottom or on the top. So I'm going to remove that because I'm going to need 2 different places to access. And then next up, I'm going to want some tanks. Or seared tanks. So just glass and seared bricks. Actually, there's the one that uses 5. Let's see. Which one do I want to go with? I think I actually want to go with the tank. The normal tank. So for this, I'm going to want 6 of these in total, because this thing can actually utilize more than one tank and pull lava from more than one tank. So go ahead and grab that, and then yeah, we're going to need more seared bricks, aren't we? I do believe so. But I think we'll have enough to get at least one of these set up. Let's see, there's our lava. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and move these blocks here on this corner, because this seared stuff, this seared tanks, they need to be on the framing. So we'll put it just like that. And then we'll just kind of finish this out with our seared bricks. So let me grab these. We might actually have enough. Okay, so if we take a look here, you can see the multi-block is formed. And we have all these slots. Now each of these slots, instead of just holding one item, like say like the smeltery does, instead each of these is going to hold up to a quarter stack. So like for example, if we threw in beef, like raw beef, we could throw in a full stack in just 4 slots. Okay. So then let me get some cobblestone real quick. And I'm going to kind of build out a platform here that we can work on. So just like that. And then I'm going to pump, let's see, we're going to have to pump lava into this. So let me go get just a few more of those hardened fluid ducts. Okay, I've got some Invar being made right now. So let me grab a bit of this. And we're just going to plug this into, of course, this same conduit line that runs through here. So we'll just bring it up along through here. Yeah, and then we're just going to plug it into each of these seared tanks. There we go. There's 12 more hardened fluid ducts. That should be enough, I think. And then these will be able to draw from each of these tanks. So we'll just run it up along like that. And then plug it up like so. And there we go. Starting to fill up quickly with lava. And then we just have to plug up the seared furnaces. So what we're going to do for that is, of course, use item ducts. And we're going to say, let's see. Let me actually get like 2 filters and 2 servos. I don't think I have any lying around. Okay, so there we go. And what we're going to need to do is, one of these is going to handle glass, one's going to handle stone. So we just have 2 of these dedicated, you know, to each. Each one's dedicated to one thing. So we're just going to plug some item ducts into each of these. And these, we're going to put filters on them. So we'll just pop those right on there. And these are going to be filtered for, let's see, one of them is going to have cobblestone. And then one of them is going to have sand. Because, of course, this is all going to be plugged up into the same conduit line. Now, the only thing is cobblestone's not actually connected to this conduit line. So we'll go ahead and just add, let's say, this one on the right-hand side. This one's going to handle sand. Okay, so we're going to add that to the whitelist. And then this one over here, we'll just pop cobblestone into there. Okay, and then let's see, do I want to bring this? I think I want to bring this one back and run it out like that, and then this one I'm going to have it on a separate line. Since cobblestone doesn't run through that connection line, I'm going to have cobblestone get pumped over to here, I do believe. So we'll just bring our item ducts along. I am going to have to craft more of these, but that's fine. So we'll just connect that over like that, and then we should see this is going to start filling up with sand here in a second. Then I'm going to put a servo onto this. I think that's the issue. We'll say whitelist, only glass can be pulled out, and we'll say ignore redstone. Okay, so now, let me go ahead and just toss that into there. You can see the sand starting to get cooked, and then we've got a filter servo there that's going to shift the glass out. Now, it's probably going to take it a second, but generally once it starts running, it seems to run fairly well. Like, it'll keep up with demand and everything, but initially getting it... Yeah, see, this still hasn't linked up, really, to start sending sand and taking out the glass. But anyways, we'll let that set for a minute, because it should be all set. It's just waiting for those item ducts to kind of link together. But and then this one, we'll go ahead and set this up. Yeah, we've got enough seared bricks. Awesome. And let's see, this one's already filtered for cobble. And then what I want to do is, let's go ahead and just plug up the item duct that goes right here. We'll go ahead and break off that connection. Then this item duct, let's see here. I think it tried to send that obsidian over here or something, but anyways. Let's go ahead and put our servo onto here, and let me get a piece of smooth stone. I'm going to say you can only extract smooth stone, and we'll say ignore redstone signal, whitelist smooth stone. And that should be all set up. Let's see. It's still not getting sand in yet. Oh, you know what, though? I just realized something. Sand is on that separate connection, isn't it? Yep, sand is over here. Okay, my bad. I'll tell you what we're going to do then. Let's see, let me actually break off that item duct. And this is going to save us on item ducts, because I'm going to run the cobble and the... oh yeah, this is going to save us a lot on item ducts. I could shift that furnace controller back over. I don't know if I want to do that or not. Okay. I think that's good. I think I'm going to leave it like this just because I don't feel like setting those back up, all those filters and everything. So we'll just kind of link this together. That's fine. And then what we'll do is we'll just bring our item ducts down through here. And I'm just going to have them come straight across pretty much. And you'll come straight through. And before we plug that up, let's go ahead and finish out this smeltery. Because, I mean, this is done. For all practical purposes, this is done. And we should start seeing this stuff running here in just a moment. So, I will say that our item ducts seem to be acting better for the most part, from what I've noticed anyways. Since our most recent server update, I haven't had as much issue with them. They're still a little bit wonky, but not frustratingly so. I thought it was getting that way with him this time, but I don't think so. Alright, let's pop up here real quick and see if this is running right now. Uh-oh. This one's getting cobblestone. So you can see it's going to start smelting down that cobble, and then of course it's going to make smooth stone with that cobble. And then the sand, of course, is going to turn to glass. And this is going to be able to smelt a ton of stuff. I wish I could put the furnace controller on the front, but still have access to both the conduit lines, but sadly that's not going to work out. But yeah, you can see that each of these are smelting simultaneously, 16 per stack, and then it's going to be able to hold an absolute ton of cobble. Probably, it's going to be at least like 15 stacks at a time. Now you notice it doesn't smelt terribly fast. I mean, these are rising super slow, and it does depend entirely on kind of like how the freezer was. The bigger the stack, the longer it's going to take. So 16 at a time, it's going to take a little while, but it's going to smelt 16, 16, 16, 16, you know, times like 40 or something. Like crazy fast. So we'll let that run for a minute, and go ahead and close this stuff off. Okay, now the next thing that I want to do is let's take this analog crafter, and I'm going to get some smooth stone. Let me go just, let me go grab some out of this. And we're going to start compressing this stone into compressed stone. So let's see, our analog crafter, I'm going to have it setting right here. Because like long term, now short term we're not going to have Netherrack running through this right this second. But long term we are going to have an analog crafter here that covers stone, and then one over here that covers Netherrack. Okay? And we're going to set this to sticky, spread items, all sides are accessible, and then we're just going to lay out our smooth stone just like that. And then we'll just bring our item ducts over and just plug into the bottom of this. We'll be fine. So now whenever smooth stone gets made, it's probably going to prioritize this analog crafter before it does our storage drawers. Which is fine, that's what we want to see. So then, let's take and set up our mechanical crafters, and we're going to have, let's see, we'll have one setting right here, we'll have one setting right here, and this one's going to place, this one's going to break. Or maybe vice versa. Let's do vice versa. So let me grab that. I'm still kind of stingy right now with blocks until we get this stuff set up. Because now we're moving into the gem production, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have... Yeah, see, it's making compressed stone for us right now. I'm going to set just an item duct right there. And then let me get a servo. Real quick. So we'll pop our servo down on our analog crafter, and we're going to say, ignore redstone. And then I'm going to go ahead and say upper left slot only. And we'll just go ahead and fill this up with some cobble. There we go. And this should, actually I think it just sent some, yeah. Just sent compressed stone, and we're going to say, oops, place block. Okay, so it's going to place down blocks in front of this mechanical user. And redstone on, okay. And then what I want to do is, let's see, this is a transfer. Is it transfer or is it item ducts? Item ducts. Yeah, item ducts. Okay, so then what I want to do is, let me get a filter real quick. And this part of it's fairly similar to stuff that we were setting up, you know, last episode with the Cobbleworks. So we'll get ourselves a filter, and then let's pop over here. And I guess that's a compressed stone rock grinder. Okay, never mind. What we're going to do is we're just going to plop a filter down. I guess we'll go from the bottom here. And for just a second, let me break this connection off so it doesn't try to send a bunch of junk. Filter right there. We're going to say whitelist, compressed stone rock grinder. And then we're going to say upper left slot only. And there we go. So it is going to wait a second before it gets the next compressed rock grinder, but that's fine. I mean, this stuff's going to be producing constantly on the server, so I think we'll be okay. Then we're going to set this to left click, and we'll go ahead and give it its first compressed stone rock grinder for it to start with. And then we'll just plug this in. Okay, so then if I turn this off, there we go. Okay, it just broke that. It made a bunch of junk and threw it all over the place. Let me clean this stuff up real quick. Okay, and so then what we're going to do is we're going to start setting up the ore cleaning system. And I should have a cauldron around here somewhere. I'm going to need more than one, that's for sure, but, oh yeah, I'm going to have to make more mechanical users as well. So here's our cauldron, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to steal a couple of these for just a minute, or for long term, but I've got, these things are semi-expensive. They require colossal chest walls, planks, wood casings, but I do have, over here, I've got more planks being compressed. So you just run wood planks through and get get those, because I knew I was going to need like 2 storage crates right here. But we're going to get one of those, and then let's get an item collector. And this should be far enough off that it's not going to be affected by... It shouldn't be like getting any cobblestone or anything like that. That should be fine. So we'll grab that. So anyways, item collector, we're not going to worry about making an advanced one. I think this is going to be perfectly fine. Because this one we're just going to have picking up everything that pops up over here. Okay? So we're just going to put our item collection system. Let's have it setting... we'll have it setting like right here. Okay? And let me go ahead and break off this connection for right now. Don't really want that. Actually, forever, I don't want that connecting. And then we're just going to pop our item collector down right there. And there we go. Okay, so then if we were to set this to... Let's change this over. We're going to say always active. Okay, it's going to start breaking and then collecting stuff from that compressed setup. That could be an issue. Well, I will probably glass this in, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. Once I get done with the build, because I'm going to have this glassed in pretty much like I have these analog crafters glassed in. Okay, because there's not really much use in us getting in there. So honestly, I think that'll be okay. So anyways, I'm going to let that run for a minute. And then we have to work on the cleaning system. Okay, because we've got all these different dirty materials. And then we've got like the crushed stone. The crushed stone can be cleaned. There's not a whole lot of chance for it to actually produce these materials, but the thing is, there is a chance. So I think that we're gonna handle these, because, you know, for example, yeah, iron is only 0.035%, but we're doing 9 stone at a time. It's getting 9 crushed stone like every second. It's cleaning through that. Odds are, by the time, you know, it runs through very much of this at all, we're going to have some metals coming in. So I would like to at least handle these. I'm going to have to get this glassed in like quick. I could bump it up to an advanced item collector, but I don't know. Don't want to do that. It's fairly cheap, honestly. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the rest of this laid out. What we're going to do is just going to bring cobblestone back along through here. I've got the stuff that we need, I think, to do pretty much all the upgrading and stuff that that I want to get set up for this. Then let's grab ourselves just a couple buckets, and I'm going to turn that little area there into an infinite water source. Now it's not going to be visible from out here, because it's going to be covered up, and then there'll be mechanical users and stuff right through there. So I'm not going to worry too much about hiding it or changing, you know, the cobble or anything like that right this second. Well, let's go ahead and just bring this down through here. So ready to have ores automated. I mean, gems. And honestly, I mean, this thing's going to be producing passive metals a little bit too. It's just not going to be super fast. And then droppers. Okay. And then we'll get our 3 mechanical users. Okay, so there we go. There's our 3 mechanical users. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to build something kind of similar to this. Alright, that handles our water for us. I'm probably not going to worry with the hourglass, because it just... Basically... Oh my gosh. Basically what happens if you don't have the hourglass is it can take a little bit longer to get the bucket out, but... that's fine, because I want something, you know, kind of compact as well. Okay, so our first mechanical user, we're going to have it setting... we'll do like right here. So right above this water. Let me bring that down. That cobblestone for a minute. And we'll just pop the mechanical user right there. And then let me close this off real quick. And I'll do that. Okay, so that's going to be able to collect the water. Now, one thing to note is this is... Oh yeah, I haven't upgraded this yet. Never mind. But that's going to be able to collect water, so let me give it a bucket. And actually, let me give it, like, I don't know. I don't know if I want these to have dedicated mechanical users to each one. Yeah, I think I do. And I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so we've got that mechanical user right there. And then what I want to do is I want to set down our very first cauldron. just right here. And then we'll put mechanical user right there. And then we're also going to have another mechanical user setting right here. Okay. And then these two, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to have like this one mechanical user handles a setup line here and then a setup line here. If we decide to expand it, which I think we might. We'll see. Alright, so let's go ahead and give this some buckets. And we're going to say generic click, right click, random slot. And then do I want to use transfer nodes? Yeah, let's use transfer nodes. And let me make just a couple filters here. Just these, it's just string, redstone, and sticks. I've got sticks on me. Okay. And I think first up I'm going to start with 2 filters. Alright, so we're going to put a transfer node right here. And then, of course, if I have another mechanical user, I'll have another one sitting right here. And it'll all be part of the same connection line. And we'll just run some transfer nodes over like that. And then let me get an empty bucket. And this first filter, we are going to set clay bucket. Oops. And just leave all the rest of this as is. Match MBT, ignore OR dictionary, match meta, whitelist. And we'll go ahead and put that filter right into here. So basically the only thing that can get extracted is empty clay buckets. And then what we're going to do is let's go, see what I'm going to say, upper left slot only on this. I'm going to say fill the rest of this with cobblestone. Okay, so it only has space for 1 bucket then. And then let me do a transfer node that comes out of the side of this. And right now it's got, of course, empty buckets here. Grab that. And on this filter, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say whitelist buckets with water. And I may have to do some adjustments because if I set up another mechanical user right here, I may have them like every other one because I think it's going to be fast enough. I mean, these basically work as fast as they can click items in. So, but then we're going to put this filter into this transfer node. So the only thing that it can extract is buckets with water. So there we go. It just got one. This other one's going to kind of just mess around. That's fine. And we'll just bring that over like that. And then here in a second, there's another water bucket. And it's not going to go anywhere for right now until this cauldron gets empty, and then it can dump the water into there. Okay, so then that's handled. I mean, the cauldrons are staying filled, and we're good on that end. Because item conduits can't seem to push water, or fluid conduits can't seem to push water into the cauldrons. Alright, and then what we need to do is let's get one more filter. Because we're going to need one filter that handles our ore processing. And there we go, there's our filter. And what we're going to do with this one is we're going to do some, let's see. Let's get like dirty ruby or emerald. That's fine. Any of the dirty materials is fine. We're going to say ignore metadata, ignore MBT. Okay? And we're going to put that dirty emerald into there. And then next up, let's do crushed stone. And we'll put that into there. And then I don't think there's anything else that we need to, because I think all these are part of the same item ID. So then all we have to do is just put our transfer node right here. And we're going to put our filter into this. And you'll see the first thing it grabbed was ruby. Even though emerald is what we actually filtered, it grabbed ruby. So there we go. And then what we're going to do is just run our transfer pipe over. And before we do that, let me get our item collector. And right down here, let me now connect this. Oh, wait. I'm going to get a servo real quick before we do that. Because we're going to be extracting from this, basically. Because we're going to have the same storage crate collect everything down the line. And then, of course, like the gems, the only place they're going to be able to go is right here. So that's where they're going to go, once we put them into the storage drawers. Now, it may take a little bit for them to actually recognize the item thing. That's my only real concern at the moment. Alright, so let's just connect this up. Oops. Connect that up, and then pop a servo on there and say, ignore whitelist, or, sorry, blacklist, and there we go. So now it can pull the stuff out of this. Of course, there's nowhere for this stuff to go right now because there's no place in the drawer system that takes dirty materials. It only takes cleaned materials. And so then what we're going to do, let's go ahead and upgrade this item collector. I do have the glowstone on me that we need. And there we go, advanced item collector. Now this we're not going to have to really filter. I don't know. I mean, cobblestone's over there. But that shouldn't be an issue because it's only going to cover like the stuff on this side. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pop it down right here. Right now it's set to, let's drop this. I don't want that large of a radius on everything. Okay, so first up, let's take a look at our Y coordinates. So Y coordinates, I'm going to go ahead and say 3. So we can go 3 up, 3 down on Y. And then next up, let's say this is X coordinates. X coordinates need to be fairly large. Then Z coordinates, just come back here. We'll go, say it's right here. We'll go 1, 2, 3. We'll go like 4 on the Z coordinates. X coordinates, we're going to go 2, 3, 4, like 8. Now the only concern is stuff over here could get picked up, but I don't think there's anything that's going to be over here or is over here that should be dropping items into this. Now, if I was to throw items down, you know, that's about the only time that we'd have to worry about it. But that's why I have this right here. If something gets lodged in here, you know, basically if it can go in the drawer system, it's going to go to the drawer system. Otherwise, it's just going to hang out in the storage crate. It's not going to get trashed or anything, you know, excessive like that. So, honestly, I think that's going to be okay for us. So let me clean that up there. Oh, and you know what? I didn't disconnect that, so now we have a bit of a mess right here. Okay, and now we are ready. Well, what did I do with my transfer notes? I bet I threw them over the edge just now. Luckily, they craft a stack at a time, and they're not even remotely expensive. So, okay. So let's get this thing plugged up now, and we can get this started running. So we'll just plug that in, and then let's go ahead and change this to use item on block. And you can see now it's making materials for us. Okay, and these are immediately getting picked up. They're getting thrown into here. You can see emeralds. And I don't think this shouldn't be sending anything over. I think it's already connected into the drawer system. Let's go take a look, because I know emeralds have a place in the drawer system. So honestly, I think it's already sent them over here. Oops, too far. 3 emeralds. 2 diamonds. I feel like I didn't have that many in here before. I mean, this stuff's indeed getting cleaned. Now, see, it's not going to be fast enough, really, to keep up with this. But we're going to fix that in just a second. Give it a little bit of redstone control. Let me actually grab this amber. Amber has a place, I believe. I'm really happy that it's getting amber, like, as much as it is. Yeah, there's 3 amber in there right now. And so let me put this amber back and let me make sure that this stuff is coming over to here. Look at all these silence gems. It's great. So amber just got pulled out. And it will probably take it a second to travel over here, I imagine. I imagine we'll probably beat it over here, but... yeah, see, it's still 3 amber at the moment. Oh yeah, there we go. 5 emeralds, 4 diamonds. So it is building up, and that's awesome to see. That is awesome to see. Okay. Oh, and you know what? It's making dark gems right now. Actually, if we grab these... there we go, first stage achievement. just to do it, I guess. And all this lapis and stuff. Okay, so let me see here. Oh, I've got to add all this stuff into drawers. I think is my first objective here. Let me just dump some of this stuff that I'm not using at the moment. And that is good to see, because we're going to be using that probably next episode, I imagine. Because there's things regarding that I really want to get into. Alright, so let's go pop some of these gems into the drawer system so they have a place to call home. Why does it keep putting flint into this? Like, it just keeps doing it. Even though I've told it not to. And I continue to tell it not to, and it still keeps putting flint into that. Drives me insane. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. This is one thing I love, messing with drawers, is just being able to move that stuff around. Okay, and can I change these over to... Honestly, I'd rather have the Silence Gems versions. I can break these down and put them back together. There we go. Okay. That's what I want. And I'll just pop that into there. That's no good. These don't auto or dictionary anymore. Because normally if a sapphire was, you know, like in this case, we have Silence Gem Sapphire and normal Sapphire. Oh, I think there's a... Didn't they change it so now there's like a key or something you have to use? Or is it an upgrade now? Maybe? Conversion upgrade. I think that's the one that we need. Requires 4 lapis, some sticks, and an upgrade template. Okay, let's give that a shot. They used to be built in by default, but I believe they've changed it now. And we'll just pop that into there. And so now, like if I have this sapphire... Yes, it does work. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and change that because I'd rather display the Silence Gems than these Tech Reborn ones. I don't care much for the Tech Reborn ones. And then we've got Ruby. Okay, so I'm going to need... Let me get like one more of those conversion things. Because I'm going to need a couple of those. Conversion upgrade. Get 2 of those. Okay. I don't know, I just think the, I don't only need one of those, but that's fine. There may be some nether materials or something like that, I don't know. So we'll get our Peridot. There we go. And that should work with the drawers. I mean, with the item ducts as well. They should be able to dump this stuff in here without issue. So, go ahead and grab that. Set that back over here. And then, what was the other one? Was it? It wasn't yellow garnet. Yellow garnet couldn't be broken down. It was ruby. Okay, let me get that. Pop that into there, and then we're going to give it a conversion upgrade. I'm kind of sad that they removed that, like, as a default feature, because that was part of what made Silence Gems, storage drawers so good, was that feature, but that's fine. Okay, and so that's Silence Gems. Now we still have all the nether ones left to go. So I think I want to save that space for like the nether materials. I do believe, but we will put chaos into here. Would like to have that being stored. And then some of these other things, we'll put like lapis into here. I guess we'll put yellow garnet right here. Apatite, dark gems. There we go. Oh, and I see pulverized nickel, which will handle that stuff. Oh, there's pulverized aluminum. And honestly, I think as this thing runs, like consistently, it's just constantly running, I think that's going to handle a lot of our ore production for us. I really, really do. I mean, I know it's not producing a ton of stuff, but it will help in being on a server and whatnot. Alright, let's go ahead and grab black quartz and Certus quartz. And I think that's everything from stone variety. And we'll just put Certus quartz into there, and we'll put black quartz right there. Okay, now I have chests and chests and chests of stuff out here. Let's see, we've got, first up, all of these that I've got to get ran. And all this crushed stone. I'll put a thing of that back. And then we also have all of this and all of this that has to get ran as well. So, let me pop over here. We're going to get this stuff being processed. And I'm going to let this stuff run for a bit. I'm going to try to get all this stuff processed. And I'm probably going to add in, you know, a couple more mechanical users. Like setups like this, like cauldron, mechanical user filling it with water, mechanical user cleaning it. And then I'll be back in just a bit, and we'll get into a little bit more within this room before we end out the episode. Okay, I've actually had this running for a while. This is actually the next day that I'm recording, and there was an update. We're now running version 2.5.1, I think. It's the one with the hotfix. Just a heads up, like there was a lot of recipe changes. We're on expert mode now. There was a lot of recipe changes. There's things like now hoppers require wooden hopper, which is like that, and they also require steel plates. But I will say this update, there's a lot of really janky things about it. I just want to talk about that for just a brief second before we continue on. First up, I find this funny. They've reduced it so that you have 8 hearts. And then every 50 different foods that you eat, you get an additional heart. Okay, which I think is a horrible... I don't know what they were thinking, because for starters, and this is my short rant, this is a Skyblock map. It's not a combat-based map. Like, I don't even encounter any monsters. I don't even fight anything. And all this heart thing really does is if you look at, like, infusion, okay, they did not change the cost of any of the infusion. So you have things like, for example, dark oak. Okay, a new player trying to get dark oak is going to have to eat 100 different foods to be able to infuse dark oak. And if you die, then your heart's reset. Okay, back to 8 max. So that right there, I think, is a really odd decision. And then a lot of mods were added that were just like out of place, random. Like the one with the sheep, where you can like add like crafting tables and stuff to sheep so that you can craft on them. It's just silly. I don't understand the point of that. But in addition, aside from my ranting, there is some glaring issues at the moment with this this version. Like, for example, if I go in here, luckily I had some hoppers lying around because I needed an analog crafter. But if we take a look at wooden hopper and we shift it in, it's not craftable. Okay? Whatever the reason, and I have updated my client, because you have to do your client and your server both. Update them to expert mode. Both of them are updated. That's why we have the new recipes visible. But it's not actually craftable. Like, some of the stuff hasn't been tested, I don't think. Anyways, moving on. One thing that I want to add to this before, because I know it's getting fairly close to wrapping up point. I have had this running, like I said, for a while. And we have a ton of metals. Like, we're actually getting in osmium, which osmium we're not supposed to gain access to until after we get the empowerer. But since we're cleaning all of the ores here, we've gotten things like osmium, we've gotten chrome, all this just different stuff. I'm kind of letting this build up. I know I haven't gotten iridium yet, and I've got to go through and figure out how I'm going to process all this stuff, because some of it can be smelted, some of it has to be specialized processing. And if we take a look over here, we have like 59 chaos. That stuff is a joke to get at this point, which means probably next episode we're probably going to get flight. And then we've got like 100 of all the other like gems. You know, I was needing amber and onyx to build. I have 122 amber and I have 136 onyx. Diamonds 213, emerald 67, 3,721 lapis. I've started making emerald upgrades for this, so you can see these things are cheap. So I have been upgrading those with you know, some better upgrades and stuff. But let's really quickly, since I've actually got a metal hopper on me. I don't know what we're going to do about hoppers after. I've got a couple left over, but iron redstone. But I imagine another hotfix will probably come out before too long. Gara's having issues over there, it would seem. There's our analog crafter. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a quick setup here. I'm going to set the mechanical user down. Oh, and we're going to change this over here a little bit to give it some redstone control. Okay. That makes sense. We're going to set these two down, and we're going to copy this. Place block, right click, upper left slot only. Honestly, I'm going to leave it on random slot on this one. And we'll say place block. That one's generic. Left click, upper left slot only. Okay. Let's see. It looks like crushed stone is falling over here. Let me increase the... or actually, we're going to move that in just a second, so I'm not going to worry about it right this second. Okay, so we've got these two set up. And this is going to get a little bit messy for a moment. We'll get it cleaned up a little bit later on. Right now it's not really a big issue. If I have a little bit of redstone ran, it's not a problem. So let me get piece of nether quartz. And I'm assuming that comparator is not changed. No, it's still same. Okay. Oh, by the way, this is filled with glass. I mean, everything over here is filled now. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to set up some quick redstone just so, because I haven't had this running when I'm offline right now, just because I don't have any redstone control. It's going to end up getting backed up. Sometimes the item ducts stop working, you know, that same old issue. So I don't want this thing to get backed up. Generally, when it's running, it can fairly well keep up, but it's when the item ducts lock up and things like that that it causes it to start getting backed up. Now it will steadily get backed up. It's very, very slow to do so because I do have 4 cauldron setups now. I did expand on that since the last recording. But what we're going to do is we're going to put a comparator coming out of this. And we'll just run some redstone out from that. It's a power of 1 at the moment. And we're going to change both of these to redstone off. Okay? So basically if they start getting redstone, they are going to stop working. I did upgrade this with reinforced servos as well, so just a heads up on that. But anyways, let's go ahead and then connect up. Let me change this up a little bit. And let me look. I don't know. Okay, these are still standard. Let me flip this switch here. And I'm going to leave that plugged up for just a minute. One thing to note is that whenever you go to make a servo, like I want to make a reinforced servo. That requires electrum. Because what I want to do is I want to use the chest as kind of like a buffer, right? And so items will move from the chest then into the storage crate. So the storage crate is like the large main buffer, and the chest is kind of like a subsidiary buffer mainly for the comparator to read off of. Because basically I ran out of faces on the storage crate itself, so that's why I'm doing that. Alright, so let's get ourselves a servo. And the best way to upgrade these, or the best way to do these, is just upgrade them from standard servos, because if you do that, it only takes 1 electrum. So we'll go ahead and do that, because normally if you were to craft this straight out as a reinforced, it requires 2 electrum. Which right now, electrum's not the cheapest thing in the world, so definitely worth doing in my opinion. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to attach our, set up our servo system. Let me grab that. Let me connect our item duct over to that. And then our servo here, and we're going to say, you just ignore redstone and pull everything out. Okay, so it's going to start pulling that stuff out at a fairly decent rate. And then what I want to do is just set up our advanced item collector. Let's say this is Z coordinates. So we're going to go Z coordinates go 4, Y coordinates 5 is fine, X coordinates go up to 10. Okay, so it should cover this entire area. You can see it's grabbing everything. And hopefully it keeps up well. I mean, right now it's kind of backed up. That's my only concern. Because basically I don't have any more faces on this small storage crate. If I did an item duct and a comparator and all that stuff, I would run out of faces. So I'm just going to help it along here just to get it kind of jump started. And then it should be able to keep up, I think. But the only thing is whenever I do this and stuff starts breaking, I mean, it's actually trying to keep up, and it's doing a fairly decent job of it. So I think it'll be okay. The only thing is whenever I introduce Netherrack, I think that's when it's going to start messing up. So, but then what we're going to do, this one is upper left slot, always on. This one, of course, is controlled with redstone. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this one be Netherrack. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this. There should be an item duct there, so I'm just going to plug that up. And let me get a filter first before I plug that up. Okay, so we're going to set this to upper left slot only. There we go. And then what I want to do is I want to set up an analog crafter. And we're going to have this setting just right here. That's fine. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up a place for me to put in Netherrack, right? Because I want to be able to just dump Netherrack. And then eventually, you know, we'll get it automated and everything will be good on that end too. So we're going to say spread items, always on, and just put Netherrack into there like that. And it should start compacting it. There we go, compress Netherrack. And then let's get ourselves a servo. I'm getting a little bit of lag on the server for whatever reason today. I know Seared was getting a little bit as well, so. We are going to just put this right here, and let's just put a servo right there and say, you know, you can ignore redstone. And there we go. Okay, so redstone off. That's going to start pumping it over, and there we go. It's going to start breaking down netherrack for us. So that way, basically, I can just, you know, if I want to run some netherrack through, it's as simple as just making some netherrack real quick, which is really easy to make, and then just dump it into this, and there we go. But anyways, I know it's pretty close to wrapping up point, I do believe, so I'm going to end out this episode here. Next episode, we will probably do the ore processing for those metals, and I'm going to see what my server issue is. I'm going to try restarting my internet, because it's been pretty rough today on here, and that could possibly be my issue, I don't know. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you found it helpful. As always, if you guys have any questions or anything, do let me know, and I'll do my best to get those answered for you. And I hope to see you guys next time. I have a feeling next episode, we'll probably just briefly touch on the ores, because I'm just going to kind of let them stockpile right now and see what all I get, see what kind of a spread I get from them. But next episode, we'll briefly touch on those, and then we're probably going to do a bit with silence gems, because we are at the point now where getting flight is not difficult at all. Like, it's super easy. Super cheap to get flight in this pack, so. We'll mess with that next episode. So anyways, I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I will see you guys then.